Hello everyone, this is Magic Dove. Today I'm doing a movie pitch for Frankenstein. Now I know what a lot of you are thinking. Hasn't Frankenstein been done to death? Yeah, I do agree with that. And I will admit that might be an issue, but I think it'd be cool to do a more faithful adaptation. Now for those that don't know, Frankenstein was a book written by Mary Shelley back in 1818. The interesting thing about this particular story is a lot of people don't know the original version. So that's one reason I think this would be a good idea. Now, one idea I have is have Dr. Frankenstein actually try to create the monster with chemicals in a cauldron, like in the 1910 film, but in this version it would be unsuccessful. Then because of that not working out, he then gets body parts from the graveyard. After that, he would then sneak into a college science class that has 2 brains in jars. So yeah, there would be some references to the 1931 movie. Like in the 31 movie, one would be labeled normal and the other would be labeled abnormal. But here's where it would be different. Instead of him dropping the normal one like Fritz did in the 1931 movie, I would have it so like it seems like he's going to drop it, but then, ends up getting a better grip of it. So, it makes people think he's going to drop the normal brain. Then, of course, he would successfully create the monster. Then, of course, I would have Dr. Frankenstein say, "It's alive, it's alive." But unlike the 1931 movie, he would actually then look at the monster and regret his decision. He'd say to himself, "What have I done?" Just like in the book, I would have it so the monster eventually sees his reflection. And of course, I'd have him try to reason with Frankenstein. Now, what the monster would look like, it kind of depends. I think it could work with anything as long as it's a monster. But if you go by the book, he does not look like what he does in the 31 movie. In the book, he's actually yellow, and yeah, he has long hair. But because the flat head is so iconic, I could see them going with that. Or maybe there could be like something that happens to him, like maybe, he looks more normal-ish, and then like maybe something could fall on his head and flatten the top. Now, like in the book, he would talk. Because for those that don't know, yeah, the monster talks in the book. So in my version, he would talk as well. Now, maybe he could, just make noises at first and then, learn to talk. Now, another reference to the 31 movie is I would have him then meet the little girl. Now, it's not going to be a carbon copy for obvious reasons, but she would actually be accepting of the monster. She's not afraid of him. For the first time, he would actually see acceptance from the little girl. But then her brother would come along, start freaking out, and then, the monster would then kill her brother. For those that don't know, her brother is supposed to be the kid that the monster kills in the book. Then, obviously the girl will freak out. So then he would pick her up and throw her into the river. So yeah, he would still throw her in the river, but in this version, it would be to cause harm. It wouldn't be a misunderstanding like in the 31 movie. Now, of course, he would make Frankenstein's life hell. Then he would talk Frankenstein into making him a bride. But like in the book, that wouldn't actually work out because Frankenstein would then destroy his creation because he doesn't want them to make a new species. Of course, this would then end with the monster killing Frankenstein. Now, if this ever got made, I think it'd be cool to get Sarah Karloff involved. Like maybe she could be a narrator or play some role or be one of the producers. But yeah, I think it'd be cool to get her involved. For those that don't know, her dad, Boris Karloff, played the monster in the 1931 movie, and he actually played Imhotep in the 1932 version of The Mummy. Alright, I hope you enjoyed my pitch. If there's anything you should remember about Frankenstein, it's this quote. Knowledge is knowing that Frankenstein isn't the monster. Wisdom is knowing that Frankenstein is the monster.